Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we all know that moving to a new country can be pretty overwhelming. Like there's just so much to know, so much to do. So today's video is going to be about things that you should not do in Germany. Either you're coming as a tourist, you're planning to move to Germany, or you're in Germany but like you're still, in your early days here in Germany. Please keep watching. So the first on my list, oh my god, in Germany, you do not drive above speed limits. Okay, in Germany, on the roads, there are cameras planted. So if you drive above the speed limit, those cameras are going to take a picture of you. And you receive a letter with your picture at the same day, the same time that you drove above that speed limit. And attached with it will be a fine that you're supposed to pay. There is always different prices, so you do not drive above speed limit. Secondly, you do not park your cars in a place that is reserved for disabled people or women with children, because there are places you go to like a shopping mall or something, you would that has like a parking spot, you would see on the floor that this there's a sign, a picture that shows this place is reserved for disabled people, and on no circumstance should you park your car there, even if it's for a minute. Like even if you do not have any other space around and that is the only one spot, and you're not spending, like, let's say 2 minutes where you're heading to, seriously, don't try it. Also, when it comes to parking, there are places you go to, and this is particular to big cities in most cases, like there's hardly parking space, and even when you find, you have to pay for the parking space. So like those type of parking space, you see like a machine where you have to pay depending on the number of hours you're going to be spending there. So when you see, you have to be sure that wherever you're parking is free for you to park. If it's not free, please pay for the parking fee. So that, because there's this office that they move around, and I think they're called the ordnance arms. They move around trying to see people who are going to park without paying for it. All they need to do is just take a picture of your plate number, and they have all the information they need. Before you know it, you get a letter from them saying you're supposed to pay so amount of money. So please, just to avoid spending money unnecessarily, because the country is expensive, always pay in a place that you're expected to pay for a parking space. There are countries that homeschooling is actually allowed, but Germany is not one of those countries. In Germany, once a child is of school age, that's from 7 years and above, the child is supposed to be in school. So in Germany, homeschooling is not allowed. Another thing you should never do in Germany is not paying your bills on time. See, in Germany, I keep saying it, ignorance is usually not an excuse. If a bill is sent to your house that you're supposed to pay for it, always try as much as possible. I know it's not easy, life gets in the way, but always try as much as possible to pay for your bills on time, because when you don't pay for those bills, you're accumulating extra money, because they would send you a letter that says you're going to pay for it. And sometimes the thing is, you might not even pay for it, and you will not get a letter like maybe in the next 1 month. You might get it in the next 6 months. And then at that point, they've accumulated so much amount of money that you're supposed to pay. So always pay your bills on time. Another thing you should not do in Germany is do not ever sign any contract without reading through the contract and understanding it. I think like no matter how pressured you are, it's always good to read through a contract without before signing it. Like that's the reason why everybody, especially as we foreigners, you should have Google Translate app on your phone. Sundays in Germany are very quiet days. On Sunday in Germany, you do not make noise, you don't play loud music, you don't have parties, you do not do like use your vacuum cleaners to clean your houses. On Sunday is a day where everybody expects everywhere to be very quiet. So always remember that when you come to Germany, even as a tourist, Sundays are quiet days. Jaywalking in Germany is not allowed. When you see a traffic sign that says red, even if there are no cars coming, you're not expected to cross the road, especially when you have children around you. Because these children are taught in kindergarten that when the traffic light says red, everybody stops. So even if everybody else there is doing it, do not do it. Recycling is such a big deal in Germany. Anybody that knows this country knows that recycling is such a very big deal. And currently, there has been a new law when it comes to recycling in Germany. When you do not recycle your bio properly in Germany, you can receive a fine of up to 2,500 euros. The bio is like fresh foods, those kind of produce. So your neighbors. Nobody wants to pay that fine. Nobody wants to pay that money. So there's always somebody watching. Who is going to be that person that is going to make a mistake and make us all pay that extra money? If you do not know how the recycling system works here in Germany, you can always ask a neighbor to teach you, because there are different what's it called, recycling containers for different purposes. You can take a picture of the front, translate it, and see what each of them is meant for, or you can just have somebody explain it to you. So do not recycle carelessly. Do not expect that when you move to Germany, like, you could always make payment for everything you purchase with your card. Yes, there are a lot of places where you can always use your card, but sometimes it's always good to walk around with cash, and this is particular to people who will be moving to Germany maybe for holidays or something like that. It's not every restaurant you go to that you go with like a credit card or a card payment is allowed. Sometimes they want you to pay with cash, so always have a cash in hand. A lot of people don't know that in Germany there are some things that they actually believe in, like that, like superstitious, You would actually think that it's not possible here, but in Germany you do not wish somebody a happy birthday in advance. Like in Nigeria, like if somebody calls you on the phone, the person is like, hey, my birthday is coming up in the next 2 days. Out of excitement, you just be like, oh wow, I'm happy for you. Happy birthday in advance. And like it's pretty normal. But in Germany, you do not wish people a happy birthday before their birthdays. It's considered bad luck. So please respect people and do not wish people a happy birthday in advance in Germany. Something else you should not do in Germany, and I don't think like a lot of people really talk about this. You might go into a store to shop for something, like maybe you walk into, like, okay, let me see, you walk into Kaufland, you buy like grocery items or something, and maybe you're not able to get every single thing you need at Kaufland, and then you want to go into another supermarket to also like complete your shopping and all. Always do not forget to go with the receipt you got from the first store you shopped at, because sometimes these stores, they sell similar items. And the truth is, when you go into the new store, if you're not with your receipts, you cannot sometimes prove. In fact, in most cases, you can actually prove that those items were not gotten from the new place you went to shop. And oh my God, if you want to avoid trouble, you want to avoid drama, you want to avoid embarrassment, it's just better you go with the receipts to show that, you know what, I didn't get these things from your store, I got it from somewhere else. I'm just to avoid unnecessary drama. When it comes to public transport system here in Germany, they go by an honor code. They expect that everybody will do the right thing. So before you use a tram here in Germany, you're expected to purchase a ticket. Sometimes the workers who work with these train companies, they come around, they check that everybody has a ticket, and sometimes they don't, but they expect everybody to go to do the right thing. So before using the tram here in Germany, always make sure you have your tickets with you, because if you don't and you're caught, you will be asked to pay a fine of 60 euro. Even if the journey you were going for was probably like 80 cents, and you didn't pay the 80 cents, and then you'll be fined 60 euro, which is like, so just to avoid things like that, and plus the embarrassment. Oh my God, you don't even want to be in such a situation. So one of the culture shocks when I moved to Germany was that in the sauna, everybody's naked. So, yeah, people literally are expected to be in the sauna stuck naked, like from head to toe. So, if you're going into the sauna here in Germany, you're not expected to be going in there with your clothes on. In Germany, you don't go into people's houses with your shoes on except they ask you to do so. So if you're going to visit somebody, you don't just, take your shoes in. Always ask at the entrance if you're allowed to walk into their apartment with your shoes on or not, because if you don't ask, it's considered rude. So, like, always make sure you ask. So these are just some of the things you should not do when you're in Germany. Of course, there are so many things you shouldn't do, obviously, but like these are some of the basic things. I just gave you guys like a snippet of things you should not do, because if I have to sit down here and tell you so many things that you should not do, like we would basically spend 24 hours talking about things that you shouldn't do. So in case there's something I couldn't add, just you can add it in the comment section. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.